Hey, and welcome to the Northeast Business Podcast. Jess, we had a wee break from the last one, didn't we? The
We
last episode.
did absolutely. It felt like a million years.
Yeah, well, we got the chance to work with a big client and build a new sales team. So that kind of took up a little bit of our time, didn't it? So we've been a while coming back with this with a follow-up show, but now we're back and we're going to start getting on this weekly regular. We've got some time blocked out now, Jess, so we have to hold each other accountable to this.
Absolutely ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, but what did you get up to the weekend?
I just met some of the girls. We went for some dinner, had a few cocktails, it was nice chill weekend. Spent the majority of it just, doing some needed flat cleaning. What about yourself?
Well, Halloween. My son Jack looks forward to Halloween more than Christmas. So literally for a year, he's been talking about what he's going to get dressed up for Halloween. He's been asking for a year, like, how long till Halloween? So at the weekend, we had like a little Halloween celebration with some of the family. We went away to like a lodge and had like a nice little hot tub and stuff there. So weekend away with the extended family as well. So it was nice.
And do you a lot of trick or treating? When does that happen? Is that tonight or tomorrow?
That is tomorrow, so actually on
Uh,
Halloween. So that was just like a family Halloween little party thing.
yeah,
And he's got a school one today, I think. And then on the actual Halloween night, that's when you go around and do your trick or treat and stuff like that. So
love
that'd
that.
be
You'll
cool.
have a great time.
Yeah, that'd be cool. But yeah, we got a chance from the last episode that we did. We were working on payments, didn't we?
Hmm.
And then we got a chance to expand it pretty quickly. So that took a lot of our time. So optimize payments and catch us on the social medias, which is exciting now. Our launch. We have a new website which is coming out in a week's time. So that's additional to the other businesses that we're running. So we are full steam ahead.
We are absolutely full steam ahead. Very exciting. Very exciting. It's something different as well, isn't it? Like something that you're not too familiar with. I'm definitely not super familiar with it either, especially like the e-commerce and stuff side of it.
Yeah, the payment side, we've got a bit of experience of it. The e-commerce is really exciting and
Hmm.
it's a huge market to get into. So that's something which we're starting now with some very experienced mentors which we're learning from. And yeah, we've had really positive movements pretty quick with that as well. So yeah, it's going to be something we can talk about in the future with some more episodes and some more guests or some guests that we are going to get on. So yeah, it's going to be really exciting, really good.
Really good. And obviously, like with your experience, in the industry, obviously sales, you've been self-employed for 16, 17 years now.
Gonna be my age here, Jess. But yeah, it will be coming up. Yeah, about 17 years now. 17 years self-employed.
Crazy. I imagine in that time as well, it's you've had, ups and downs, a lot of ups and downs, I imagine. How have you kept your head checked all that time? How have you kept your attitude all that time?
Yeah, I, in terms of like keeping on track of what you want to achieve, I remember hearing a saying years ago, which we teach a lot of our team now, which is if in doubt, zoom out because it's super easy to get like emotional on the day-to-day things when you think you're having a bad day or a bad week, or even like you're going through like a bit of a rough stage in your career.
Mhm.
But if you look at it, it's just like a tiny little portion of your full journey. So overall, your track will go up. But if you zoom in little areas, it is more like that, and that's where the
Yeah.
ups come from. But if you zoom out the area that you're in and look back maybe a year ago, even if you might be going through a rough time today, look back 6 months ago, a year ago, you're still actually further ahead. So I remember being taught that it really helped me sort of keep my head on I suppose, a long term journey.
Yeah, no, definitely. So obviously with all your experience, what is like the best advice you would give to anyone in sales, anyone wanting to get into sales? It's, a very, it's a very intense, it can be very intense, the industry. So what is like your best, I suppose, advice? People can get very emotional, naturally. So we're all humans, we all get very emotional. So what is the best advice that you would give to people?
Yeah, so in terms of you're new to sales or maybe you've done sales for a while, sales people we deal with lots of moving parts, whether it's selling directly to consumers, like people's in the homes, if you're doing like events or door to door or anything like that, or whether you're going business to business. There's lots of moving parts. There's lots of things that you can't really be in control of. But over the years and over time, uh, got a different use on over when I say over the years and through time. Um, Sales, you learn to control your controllables, so the things that you can control. So there's only a few of these things you can control, but it's where you've got to take maximum maximum control of these things. So the first one is the pitch. So the pitch could be, some clients you might work for might have certain set structures that you have to say for legal reasons, or there's just ways that they want you to present products.
Okay.
Or if you've got like full control and creativity over how you're going to sell maybe clients' products or your own products. But the pitch is the first one. You're in complete control of the pitch. And this is something which sounds so simple, but it's actually something which people like completely mess up. But if you think about it logically, every word that leaves your lips, you're responsible for them. So you're in complete control of the words that you say. You're in control of how you say them. So if you say them like really sad and really boring, or if you say like enthusiastic, like you're really interested in the product,
Yeah.
you don't have to say like, "Oh my god, this is amazing," but you can still put it across like the tone. Have genuine excitement. The excitement doesn't mean like you're shouting and screaming at somebody. You can still like talk enthusiastically to someone. Something which happens a lot in sales is blocks and overturns. So something that you get back from a homeowner, or something you get back from a business owner, where they're like, "No, I don't want this product because X, Y, and Z." So we promote a lot of networking. So that's going spending time with the people, spending time with maybe what would be like a high role, or someone's doing a lot of sales. So Jess, if I'm new to sales and I find out that Jess is a top performer in this industry, whether it be payments, whether it be energy sales, whether it be broadband, whatever it is that you're selling, and I find out that Jess is a top performer, then all I would do is write down blocks or things I'm hearing in the field or from customers and businesses that I don't know how to respond. So simple one is, I'm not interested. So I'd go to Jess and like, "Hey Jess, someone keeps telling me that they're not interested. What do you say to that?" So that teaches you how to get over a block, and it teaches you to network as well. So networking is another big thing, because if you're telling me this is how you respond to these words, so if a customer says I'm not interested, or customer says I'm happy with X, Y, and Z, I can control the response. I can control the words, which is all part of the pitch. If you tell me that you use strategic pauses, so I ask a question and I use a pause. Some people think that salespeople have got to always fill all the dead air space and got to keep talking and never let the customer talk. Like, that's terrible advice. You've got to use pauses to give the customer time to think about what we just processed.
Yeah, you don't want to feel like they're just getting all this information thrown at them and they can't get a word in edgeways.
Yeah, and some people like just keep throwing all these information, numbers at people, and it can be a lot. Learn to listen as well. So I know I'm saying which is the words. We've also got to let the customer speak as well, because if you let customers speak, then 9 times out of 10 they'll tell you what the pain points are. They'll tell you what the pressure points are. They'll tell you what they want fixing.
Yeah.
Then they can also tell you if they've just signed a brand new contract, and there's no way that you can get them to sign up to this.
Okay.
Like, there's loads of times I've heard from salespeople where they've got to the end of the pitch and the customer's like, that's really good. Can you come back in 18 months when I'm out of contract? But
No.
if you let the person actually speak and have a conversation with the person, so that, yes, it's a pitch, but you actually engage in a conversation.
Yeah.
Let them speak, listen. That can also,
Exactly, yeah. And then you can kind of figure out if it's someone that, you can, I suppose, like sell a product to or sign up and they're just immediately like no, defensive off the gate. You can kind of gauge their tone, their body language, if they're just going to be a flat no, like if they're going to be like in the red zone, they're just like not going to be someone that qualifies. You can just move swiftly on to the next.
yeah. Plus, if someone's just having a bad day, it's not their fault.
Yeah,
Like, you've 9 times out of 10 maybe called them, or it might even be like a warm lead. But if they're having a bad hour, if they're busy, whatever it is, you can pop back later on in the day, or maybe
yeah,
pop back later on in the week. Like, but if you keep going, "Yes, but I need to answer now, Jess. But Jess, I want to speak to you now. But Jess, I want to speak to you now," and then you could turn a potential future yes into a no today. So like, just
okay.
listen to what they have to say, and within reason. Like, if they need some space, give them space. But it's just someone who needs a gentle nudge to get the sale over. Like, as long as it's beneficial for them, and sometimes you obviously continue, but it's just with experience you learn when it's just time to
Yeah,
yeah. I think having structure to your pitch, having structure to the words that you say, having structure to your conversation in your head, So if I know I'm going from this start, the introduction through to the close, I'm going to have some sort of like rough structure which I'm going to be sticking to.
Hmm.
A lot of companies will give you a pitch that they want to use, which you mentioned before. So I'll have a structure. I can control them words, and then I'll add a bit of personality too. So I'm still keeping a structure. So all these things you can completely control: tone, words, blocks, overturns. That's the first thing that you can control is the words that you say.
Okay, okay.
Um, Second point is pace.
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 What was pace?
So people, it'll get called different names. So pace, speed, work ethic, volume, how many times you pick up the phone, how many times you go
Mhm.
and approach a business, the number of customers that you speak to, the number of potential customers, the number of potential leads
Yes.
to. Quite often, a lot of the teams that we manage and that we coach, the top performer is the person that takes the most no's, and the top performer is the person that delivers the most presentations, or
Uh-huh.
most like conversations, or spoke to the most businesses, or spoke to the most homeowners. So it's not really rocket science. So if you're willing to put in the effort, if you're willing to go and speak to more people, then you'll actually get the most responses to that.
Yeah, it seems very like systematic. Like it's like when you go back to like law of averages, you speak to this many people and you do this, this, and this. Like it all just kind of is very systematic. It all just flows as it should if you follow the steps.
Yeah, it's interesting. A quick football reference. Two of the leading goal scorers in penalties over the last, I think it was 20 years, was Ronaldo and Messi. But they
Okay.
also missed the most penalties as well.
Right, okay.
So even if they score 9 out of 10, they would obviously score 9 goals, which is good. But they were missing one. But because they just took so many, so many, so many, that
Yeah,
one keep adding up. So they act on paper, they actually missed the most, but they also scored the most as well.
exactly. Yeah. So you just have to like keep trying, keep trying, keep trying until you get the goal or get the yes or whatever it is.
Same with when basketball. I'm not sure if this stat's true, but when I was first starting my sales journey, again, show my age. Um, the analogy with Michael Jordan missed the most shots in NBA. I don't. Again, it's a few years since I started. So Michael Jordan scored the most points, but also missed the most shots as well.
Okay.
So I'm just thinking of a guy like in our team right now is a guy called Sam who does the most sales right now, and one of the campaigns we're working on, and Sam, he's doing a great job.
Yeah.
He's coming across the most yeses, but I know through his numbers, he's actually taking the most no's as well.
Yeah. But I suppose it goes back to his attitude, his pace, all of that stuff. He knows the amount of people that he must speak to get
Yeah.
those yeses, but you have to go through the no's as well.
So when you think about pace as well, the things that you can control in pace is how many breaks you take,
Okay.
how long that you're going to have for a break.
So do you find people just might take like an hour and a half, and just, be like, oh, it's fine, I'll still hit my target, but then they'll obviously
Yeah,
quickly realize that maybe they won't.
it's people's choice, it's people's preference, isn't it? Like how
Mhm.
hard you want to work, like you can choose how hard you want to work. So if your goal is to hit a certain target, but you're taking a 2 hour lunch break, then how important is that? Like you're not really working.
Yeah.
And you'll find that people who work the hardest, people who speak to the most people, customers, businesses, etc., as they speak to more people over time, skill develops.
Hmm.
So skill naturally grows. So you find out the people who speak to the most people then develop skill the fastest.
Yeah.
And then their sales will also go up too. So
Okay.
the pace is something you can control today. The pace
Hmm.
helps that skill develop faster as well over a longer period of time. So the second thing which a salesperson can control, sorry, back to the original point, the second thing that salespeople can control is their pace.
So as long as someone comes in and they're pretty much, coachable, they're willing to learn, they're willing to follow the systems, the steps, anyone can really get good at sales as long as they apply themselves? Or do you think maybe it just comes down to a little bit of natural born talent as well?
You definitely get some people who's natural at sales, like don't get me
Mhm.
wrong, you can get some people natural at sales, but can anybody sell within reason? Yes, like if you're willing to say the words with some enthusiasm, which we'll get into in a little bit, and speak to enough people, like you will come across a yes.
Yeah.
Like I've worked for God knows how many clients over different industries, and same with like the holiday home business that we have, and energy and payments, all these different industries that we're in. It's just if you approach enough people, eventually you're going to find someone who sick of the provider, our contract wants a better deal.
Yeah.
You're going to find somebody who wants to have a holiday that weekend, and
Yeah.
so wants to have a break. So yeah, the more you put it out, the more chance you're going to get returns too.
Okay.
Yeah, so within reason, yeah, anyone can do sales as long as they're willing to work hard. So yeah, that was so the first thing was the pitch, the words that you say. The second thing was pace, like how quickly your work ethic that you put into it. And then the third thing that you look after and you are in control of is your attitude. So I know you mentioned just before, Jess. Yeah, one thing which we talk about a lot here is like you're in control of your attitude. Um, and I'll be honest, when I came from a building site, so for anyone who hasn't heard the previous episode, um, my background was 10 years in construction, 10 years in
Wow.
building sites where it was, we trained how to fit doors and windows and put floors down and all the other exciting things you see on building sites. How to use a drill. It was never once taught how to have a good attitude whilst using a hammer. There's never,
Okay.
hey,
Yeah.
we're going to build this wall with a good attitude, because it wasn't required. It's like a bit of wood here. It didn't matter if you put it on, attach this bit of wood to this wall. It didn't matter if you did it with a smile on your face or not. It wasn't something that was taught.
As long as you just kind of showed up and did the job, that was the main thing.
Yeah, but when you get into sales and when you get into maybe an entrepreneur, maybe you want to run your own business, depending on how far you want to take things. Your attitude's the biggest thing. Yeah, so attitude, when I joined sales, I think I mentioned at the start, attitude isn't the person who shouts the loudest, it's not the person who gives the best high five, it's not the person who talks the most. Attitude is your ability to remain focused on a task. So so if you've set a goal to get from A to B, regardless of what happens in between, as long as your goal is to get from point A to point B, regardless of what happens, that's attitude.
Yeah.
Are we going to get from point A to point B no matter what happens? Are we going to get from point A to point B even if it takes a little bit longer? Are we going to get to point A to point B and we'll find there's actually another 10 points in the middle and we only got told there was one? That's like business is what we've been doing, right?
Yeah.
We said that we're going to build this extra sales team for a new client. Guess what? It took a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But it's still ongoing now because you always continue to build teams. So yeah, I think attitude is probably the biggest thing. Like someone's attitude towards it. Are they positive? Are they happy? Are they coming in excited? Are they coming in like wanting to be solution oriented? Are they coming in wanting to learn? Like even if someone's brand new to sales and doesn't have the skill, their attitude towards learning, their attitude towards learning the pitch, their attitude towards working hard. So attitude can apply from day one. It's not something
Yeah.
coming in, oh, I don't need an attitude until I get to like a management position.
And if someone comes in and they might maybe in the beginning have a really good attitude, really apply themselves, and then, over time, maybe just the sales aren't going their way, their team isn't going the way that they thought it was going to go. We see it every single day. So if their attitude is, going a little bit downhill, how would you help that person? How would you support that person to maybe pick their attitude back up or assist them? What kind of tips would you give someone?
Yeah, well, two things. Because there's lots of things you can do to help improve your attitude. So if it's just like a dull day that you're having, or maybe you've had like a long no or an out, it's maybe you walking between customers or businesses and it starts raining, so the day is not as fun as when it's 25 degrees in the summer, which again that doesn't happen very often in Newcastle. But
No.
the weather can affect you. The taking a long no can affect you. So just take 5 minutes, take a break, like whether it's get a drink of juice, whether it's listen to a podcast or listen to your favorite song for 5 minutes. Just take a quick break, reset your head, and that can get you back on things pretty quickly. If there's like a long-term goal that you're working towards, so we talk about a lot where this is where we are right now, this is where we want to be next year, this is where we are now, this is the short-term goal. So things that can excite you to work towards a goal. We're talking about having like the team day, right?
Yeah, that's exciting.
So only this morning we talked about like a team day that we're going to have, and you saw everybody got excited because hey, we hit this short-term goal, then this is going to be the reward. So that can be something that can kickstart you again. Maybe it's you're working towards something long-term personally. So that's something that can help. But then also back to that saying again, if in doubt, zoom out.
Hmm.
Look like yes, today's been crap, or yes, this last hour hasn't gone according to plan. Okay, let's take a deep breath. What was I doing this time last month? What was I doing this 2 months ago? What was I doing this time last year?
Yeah,
And you quickly see how fast time does go, but also it can help you see like progression and development, and see how you've moved on, and that can help reset your attitude and get you back on a positive spin too.
definitely. I think it goes back to, I think it was a meeting that we had yesterday where it was like, if you have a negative experience somewhere, you're going to want to tell everybody. You're going to be like, oh my God, I had the worst experience here. But then obviously when something positive happens, you're not as inclined to talk about it. You're just going to focus on the negative stuff that happens. So I suppose it is just keeping your attitude. And yeah, this might be a negative right now, but if I look back last week, all the positives I had, it kind of outweighs it, and it's just temporary. Like the negatives are always just temporary.
Yeah, everything's temporary. Everything's
Yeah.
temporary. Fortunately, if you're having a positive day, that's also going to temporary as well.
Yeah.
So just get used to the highs not being too high, the lows not being too low. So yes,
Hmm.
celebrate the wins, but I can't allow myself to get too high, because then when I drop back down to
Yeah.
normal, where normal is, it sometimes can feel like a bit of a drop down.
Hmm.
And if the low gets too low, then all of a sudden that's when people make rash decisions, when you get emotional and make career changes or client changes or
Yeah.
whatever else that people make when they're in bad spaces too. So yeah, attitude is just, that's one thing you can control. So I think we mentioned a few tools there, whether it be remembering what the goal is, short term, long term, personally, professionally, um, taking a break
Yeah.
for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, if that's what it takes. You'd be better off taking a break for that 10 minutes than you would be cracking on for the next 4 hours.
Hmm.
Because as you take that note, it becomes heavier as well. So it actually has a knock on effect. So every note that you collect
Yeah.
becomes so much bigger. So yeah, um, control your pitch, control your pace, control your attitude. Um, and then lastly, the fourth thing, which is something which you're in control of, which again, not a lot of people like to hear this, but is turning up every day.
Yeah.
So I get, and some people probably say, "Oh, what if I'm really sick, or what if I'm really ill?" And like within reason, yes, I do agree. If like yeah,
Yeah.
unfortunately you might be really ill, then you might not be able to work. But I'm also a big believer that some people convince themselves that they're ill.
Yeah.
When I first started, my coach was like, Glen, when you went to school, did you ever try and convince your mum and dad that you were poorly? And I was like, yeah. And like, were you really? Like the second your mum was like, okay, you don't have to go to school, you're like, right, I went upstairs and put the computer on and then go
Yeah.
and get a drink.
Jumping all around eating sweets. You're like,
Yeah, school starts at 9, and by 9:30 you're feeling a lot better. Like so, a lot of the time we convince ourselves, or just kind of might upset people, but just lie to themselves and lie to the people that they work to that they're just
yeah.
not feeling great that day. Um, over the 17 years I've been self-employed, I think I've probably count on one hand the number of days that I've forcefully been off, and I think a couple of them were from sporting injuries where I had to go to hospital. Never really illness. There's days you come in, you don't feel great. Like you just got to accept the learning days. Like, hey, it's going to be a little bit tougher today because I don't feel champion. I don't feel
Yeah.
well. That's just part of life. But if every time you have a headache or an upset stomach or you don't feel the best, if you take the time off, like businesses never evolve. And if you hear lots of different entrepreneurs speak, they talk about turning up every day, because that is a skill in itself, being able to turn up every single day.
Yeah, 100%. I think I was like that in my last, I suppose, your typical like 9 to 5 job. When I worked in a call center, it was kind of like, okay, there's like 100 and odd people doing the exact same job as me. I don't feel the best this morning. I'm gonna ring in sick. So it's kind of like they're
Yeah,
not really gonna care if I'm not there. And yeah, sometimes they really just don't care. But then I started this in this industry, and I was like, okay, no, like I am completely responsible for my work and my schedule. And if I don't turn up, then the work just doesn't get done. So you have that bit of responsibility, like it's your career in your own hands. So I think this job has just made me more, okay, I'm not gonna take a day off. I've got a headache. Okay, get over it, get into the office. Like it just.
yeah, I think that's a good thing because it shows that you're taking control of your career and you've
Mhm.
got goals where you want to get to in the future. And like you said there, when you worked on a call center, you were part of a big machine where if
Yeah.
the phones that day, it wasn't in the world. If Glen didn't turn up the building site that day and hang that door, well, sorry, someone else was going to do it.
Yeah.
Then when you get involved in something which you really care about, 90% and 95% of them feelings and illnesses and sick days just go away.
Yeah. Disappear.
So yeah, that's something which you can control is turn up every single day. So the four things which I try to explain and teach to people. So again, people's watching us on Spotify, Apple, or YouTube, wherever you're picking this up at. We wanted to talk about what salespeople can control. So if you break it down, simple things you can control every single day, which help you get more sales, is the pitch, which is the words that you say, the pace, which is the work ethic and the volume that you're going to do. The third thing is your attitude. So how excited are you towards that task? How excited are you towards that customer, to that business? And then lastly is just rinse and repeat, turn up every single day.
Yeah.
So I think that's the simplest way to sum it up, Jess. I'm
Yeah.
quite proud of talk this episode for hours, as you can probably tell.
But it's things that are just super, I don't want to say like basic, but it is just super basic stuff that you do every single day, but you just don't realize how much of a knock-on effect it has for you doing your job role and doing it really, really well and progressing in your career.
Yeah, because you want to create positive habits the same way as you create negative habits. So if
Yeah.
you get the habit of hitting goals, if you get in the habit of coming to work every single day, whereas if you're in the habit of staying at home and in the habit of being sick, and people get the reputation of being a successful person, and people get the reputation of being an unsuccessful person, like they're
Yeah.
both falling into habits, and they both put time and effort into developing them habits, whether they be good or whether they be bad or negative.
Yeah. It's great.
Awesome. But I think we can wrap it up there because, like I mentioned, I think I can chat for hours about this. We'll make sure we keep them short and punchy. So we're going to be committing to doing this every single week now, and me and Jessica are going to make sure that we're on this, and we're bringing some of our business partners on and some people that we've met in our journey too. So you're going to see some different faces, hear some different voices as well. And we're going to get this on Apple, Spotify, YouTube. Yeah, it's going to be everywhere for people to pick up. If you want to get us on social media, just at Glen Laws on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. So yeah, we're kicking out everywhere. We're quite easy to find out, I guess.
Very, very easy and very exciting. I'm excited for the next few weeks.
Yeah, it's gonna be huge. So yeah, when you hang up on this, please give us a review, give us a 5-star, give us a thumbs up, and we'll speak to you all very soon. Cheers.
Bye.